Hi, this is Andrew Cook.
And this is Michelle Panek.
Welcome to the Affordable Therapy Showcase.
Yes, and so to kick off today's speaking engagement, I would like to introduce Michelle Panek. Michelle Panek is a mindfulness and neuropsychology-based therapist, specializing in anxiety and life transitions, including relationship issues, career challenges and changes, grief and loss, and chronic life transitions, including chronic illness. Blending psychotherapy and life coaching philosophies, she helps clients redirect with and strengthen their self-confidence, resilience, and she also uses a gentle, trauma-informed method that involves the brain, the body, and emotions, collaborating with clients to bring forth their own innate wisdom as they embark on their personal healing journey. It's my pleasure to proudly introduce Michelle Panek.
Thank you, Andrew. There's a story about a Taoist master who was asked by members of a village, if he could help bring rain to their dry fields. The master agreed to come and asked for a small hut to tend along with a small garden along the side. And he spent a few days just tending to the garden. He didn't do anything about the rain. He didn't interact with the villagers, just tended the garden. On the fourth day, rain began to fall. And when he was asked by the villagers how he had achieved such a miracle, the master answered that he was not responsible for the rain. However, he explained, when he came to the village, he had sensed disharmony within himself. And each day as he tended the garden, he returned a little bit more to himself. When he returned to balance, the rain came naturally. I really love this story because it speaks to a question that has been alive for me in my own personal life for many years. And I think it's also a really big question that people ask themselves. I think for those of us in the audience who are psychotherapists, we probably have clients who ask this question. But I think friends and family ask this question too. And that is, how can I bring more balance into my life? How do I achieve life balance? What is this mythical life balance that we're all talking about? I think that it's a myth that it's possible to attain life balance like this Taoist story is talking about from the outside. Our culture tends to arrange outer circumstances, right? It says, here's all the things you need to do to get balanced in your life, to achieve life balance. Get the right job, find the right partner, get up at this time in the morning, do this kind of yoga, do these types of exercises, fill in all of these outer circumstances, and then you'll be balanced. And the thing is, it doesn't work. I'm particularly interested in the idea of inner balance, which to me is more important than outer balance, and it's also easier to seek and to attain. So yes, I do think that a single size, one size fits all life balance is a myth when approached from the outside. Outer balance, arranging our outer circumstances as best we can, is important, but it's best to start from within. So I've come up with a philosophy regarding inner balance, and the simplest way to define it in this short talk is that it's a combination of nervous system regulation and inner focus. So you could think of it as a sort of embodied way of living. It's really about sensing and working with what's here right now in our bodies and in ourselves, what's going on inside of us so we can know what we're capable of on any given day. So as far as the nervous system regulation piece goes, the first thing that I talk about with that is the window of tolerance. The window of tolerance is our ability to stay regulated, right? You can think of this as my window of tolerance here. If I'm hyper aroused, then I might be having things like anxiety. Or if I'm outside of my window of tolerance down here, I'm hypo-aroused, and that could look like listlessness or maybe even depression. Everyone's window of tolerance is different. We are all different in that. It's also possible to expand your window of tolerance through certain exercises or practices, and that's one way that I would define resilience. And then it's possible to have your window of tolerance decreased. And trauma is one example in which this could happen, and stress is another very common way. Another piece regarding nervous system regulation for inner balance is this wonderful idea of neuroplasticity, which I love. This means that our brains are not static and that they never change and that we stop forming new neural networks our whole lives. We actually continue to form new neural pathways, and we can choose to change them and to prune other neural pathways away. That's how we form new habits. This is how we form new ideas in our minds and new ways of living. So how these patterns change is highly dependent on what we pay attention to or what we practice. And to me, this gives a sense of hope that there can be change. And this also ties into the idea of inner balance. So besides nervous system regulation, there's inner balance. There is the idea of inner focus of what's going on inside of us, and that's where mindfulness comes in. My favorite definition of mindfulness is attending to the present moment with friendliness and non-judgment. So noticing that we're here, noticing what's happening, and then just leaving it at that, not having to do anything about it. So note how different this is from arranging our outer circumstances to attain life balance. Starting from the inside, and then from here, I have more of a sense of what time I do want to get up in the morning, and what exercises I want to do, and who is my right partner, and who is the right job, all of those types of things. There's a bunch of practices that we can do to cultivate mindfulness, to affect our window of tolerance, to learn to better stay within our window of tolerance, and to promote neuroplasticity. I don't have time to go through those tonight, but just a couple of quick ones. One way to stay within your window of tolerance or to be more regulated is to do a longer out breath than in breath. So I could just go, I do that for about 2 minutes. I'm more regulated within my system. Mindfulness could be a traditional daily practice or something that you do mindfully in your normal everyday life. You can wash dishes mindfully. You can have a mindful conversation. And then finally, long-term practices, for instance, energy work like Tai Chi or Qigong, things like that are really great for nervous system regulation. And then psychotherapy is another one. Lots of psychotherapists here that can help with inner balance and life balance. And then self-compassion practice. So to recap, inner balance is about noticing your inner landscape with mindfulness and acceptance, and also working to increase resilience. When you come up against limitations in your life, and we all will, and we all do, it's about using self-compassion and loving kindness to be okay with being your unique you. As Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. And I believe if we want to see balance in an unbalanced world, we can always choose each day to start with ourselves. So thank you for that.